Hello, and a warm welcome to our show, Love Athletics. In this program, we bring you the latest highlights from our sport with expert input from different continental areas. And we're delighted to have as our guest today, Kenyan journalist Elias Makori. Hello, Elias. Lovely to see you, and a big thank you for joining us.
Hello, Anna. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm excited to be here in Paris for the Olympic Games, and thanks for having me on the show.
So Elias could not be live with us today, but he kindly sent replies on video. So this show is entirely dedicated to the Olympic Games, which are underway in Paris, started on the 1st and conclude on Sunday 11th. And this show focuses on the first 6 days of competition from the 1st to the 6th of August. So let's go right to the action and ask Elias, what were your 3 favorite athletics moments of the Olympic Games so far?
Yeah, thanks, Anna. My top moments. It's very difficult to. There've been a lot of highlights, both on the track and in the field. Exciting track and field program. Also the race walks right from the opening day of the athletics program. A beautiful setup right below the Eiffel Tower. But in terms of the top 3, in my opinion, number 1 will be the 5,000 meters women's final, where Faith Kipyegon was expected by most people, at least the Kenyan fans who are following her, and indeed the athletics analysts, to do something and run away with this, because she had broken the world record in the 5,000 meters right here in Paris, across at the Stadium Charlotte during the Diamond League last year. I remember being in the stadium with you, Anna, and watching that amazing world record on a night where the steeplechase men's world record also fell. So we actually, most of us thought Faith will go with it, but the little Beatrice Chebet, cross-country world champion, outpaced her at the last 50 to take the gold. But again, the talking points around the race make it even more exciting. Faith stripped of a silver medal for allegedly pushing Gudaf Segai. Again, the jury of appeal late into the night, around 11:16 p.m. to be precise, giving the ruling that that penalty was withdrawn, and that Faith takes the silver. So there's that. A lot of push and shove went into the social media, Kenya versus Ethiopia banter. It was quite interesting, 5,000 meters, and of course Sifan Hassan taking a bronze at an Olympic Games where she's competing in 3 events alongside the 10,000 meters and the marathon. So yeah, the 5,000 meters women's race on and off the track was quite a talking point.
That was indeed a crazy race with Beatrice Chebet and Faith Kipyegon. And yes, the little bit of drama with Gudaf Segai was also interesting.
Second event, I'd say perhaps the women's 100 meters final. Julian Alfred, coming from the tiny St. Lucia, whose population, Anna, if you actually look at it, can fit in the Stade de France the entire population of St. Lucia, because 180,000 people. I recall there was a crowd of about 190,000 at Stade de France when U2 with Bono performed. So you can jump them into the stadium. And somebody from such a tiny island taking a gold medal was a climax, a highlight. And of course, adding a silver in the 200 meters, making a proud nation, a nation very proud. I remember looking at clips of the cabinet taking a break just to watch the hits of the 200 meters. So it's really inspired a nation, and that's why I look at it as one of the highlights, not just for the action on the track, Julian winning, but the impact it had back in St. Lucia in the Caribbean, and indeed in other smaller islands.
Amazing performance by Julian Alfred at the 100 meters. And as you guys know, I'm always thrilled when small countries take the win. So congratulations. And again, the US ladies didn't manage to win 100 meters title at the Olympic Games. The last one was Gail Devers in 1996. After that, there were a couple athletes. Then there was a Jamaican rain, and now Julian Alfred. So, wow, congratulations.
My third the biggest moment, again in the 100 meters, again in the final, but in the men's race, Noah Lyles beating Kishan Thompson of Jamaica by 500ths of a second. That was quite close. They had to wait and wait before the big TV, replay showed that indeed Noah Lyles had added the Olympic title to the world title. And, the amazing times that they ran all the way up to 8th place, oblique Seville. He had 9.91. So all 10 finalists ran below 10 seconds. It was an exciting 100 meters race, and indeed a fitting final for the Olympics at such a brilliant venue, brilliant crowd at the Stade de France. Those were my three highlights, but like I said, there were many more. It's hard to pick, but I just took those from the top drawer, Anna.
That men's 100 meters was indeed crazy. 5,000ths of a second between Noah Lyles and Kishane Thompson, and 9,000ths for the top 7 athletes. It was like a general photo finish. It was crazy. So we asked several journalists and also fans what was their favorite moment so far, and the men's 100 meters final came up a lot. Let's listen to a couple of them. Okay, so what was the most exciting event for you so far at the Olympic Games in Paris?
Well, I went to basketball in Lille, to golf, and at national golf, which were interesting, but I also managed to get tickets for the 100-meter finals with Noah Lyles, and that was really impressive. I didn't think I'd see it one day, so it's probably the best event I've been to. Just the atmosphere overall was amazing.
And it was a crazy finish. They were all there.
Yeah, it was crazy. I had to go to had to look at the photos, and it's the first time that all runners have gone under 10 seconds. So in the stadium, we didn't see who was going to win until the last moment when they actually announced it. So it was amazing.
So it's cool to hear that even for fans who are not really into athletics, one of our events was their highlight of the games. Stefania Baraldo, a pillar of the AIPS office, the International Association of Sports Journalists, is a former triple jumper and an athletics lover. Let's hear what she chose as her favorite moment.
La mia prima Olimpiade, e ovviamente devo ringraziare il mio presidente Gianni Merlo dell'Associazione Internazionale della Stampa Sportiva, che mi ha portato a vedere le gare più belle in assoluto. E prego. Chiedimi pure quel che vuoi.
E quindi di queste gare meravigliose qual è quella che ti ha colpito e emozionato di più?
Io posso dirti che ovviamente l'atletica è il mio sport, e quando sono andata a vedere i 100 in diretta veramente avevo l'emozione nel cuore, avendo anche un nostro atleta italiano che era Michael Jacobs. Sapevo che non poteva fare molto perché purtroppo si era infortunato, però ha dato tutto, sia in semifinale che durante la finale. Avevo il cuore in gola e ti giuro che quando ho visto la finale era come se fossi in campo anch'io con loro, e quindi è stato spettacolare.
Grazie Stefania. So even jumpers were captivated by that amazing race. So let's look at some other special moments from Paris. And the first one for me in chronological order came on the very first day of the athletics with the 20 kilometers race walk, which brought lots of emotions. Ecuador's race walker, Brian Daniel Pintado, moved to the front of the race at the 9th kilometer and was then always in the lead pack, pulling away decisively in the last kilometer to win by 14 seconds. And afterwards, he showed a photo of his younger children, declaring, it has been tough to be away from my family, my wife, my kids for 4 months and just seeing them through a screen. But they were with me throughout the race. I have a picture of them with me. I also have a necklace of my son running beside me, and I'm wearing a scarf that my grandmother gave me. So really, they were with me all the time. And it's great. You see the photo, but you also see Daniel's grandma's scarf. I love that picture. And that was not the only emotional post-race moment. Pintado's compatriot Jefferson Perez, the first 20-kilometer race walk Olympic champion from Ecuador in Atlanta 96, who was also a triple world champion in 2003, 2005, 2007, could not hold back tears as he hugged Pintado before they posing together with the newly crowned Olympic champion. Ecuadorian journalist Jaime Plaza, the director and editor of the website Paso de Oro, tells us about what drives the newly crowned Olympic champion. Let's take a look.
Daniel Pintado es un deportista que nace de las familias, diríamos de una familia de nivel de escasos recursos económicos bajos, de las familias de las que se ha caracterizado prácticamente los marchistas, de dónde han salido los marchistas y los grandes atletas de Ecuador, de las familias de escasos recursos donde se forja la voluntad, la fuerza de voluntad, donde se forja el carácter y sobre todo se forja el talento de estos grandes campeones como lo han sido Jefferson Pérez a su debido momento en 1996 y luego ahora en el 2024 Daniel Pintado.
Muchas gracias, Jaime. Jaime sent us a very interesting video retracing Pintado's background in detail, and we will publish that in full in the coming days. So with Brazil's Caio Bonfim in second place and Spain's double world champion Álvaro Martín in third, it really was a triumph of Ibero-American race walkers. And also, I always like to point out the diversity in the race walking. Top 8, there were 7 countries: Ecuador, Brazil, Spain, Italy, Canada, Ethiopia, and 2 athletes from Japan, representing 5 continents: South America, Europe, North America, Central America, and Caribbean, Africa, and Asia. And in the top 8 was also Ethiopia's Wakuma Mistana, who finished 6th. And he is the first walker from the continent to make an Olympic top 8. So congratulations to all the athletes. And by the way, the women's race also showed the same level of diversity. So my second special moment was the 4x400 mixed relay, and especially the anchor leg by Femke Bol. It really was amazing. Netherlands beat the USA, who had set a world record in the heats on the previous day, with a team including Vernon Norwood, Shamir Little, Bryce Dedmond, and Kaylin Brown, clocking 3:07:41. Now, in the final, the Dutch team came within 0.02 of a second of the world mark, setting a European record, 3:07:43, with Eugene Omala, Lieke Klaver, Isaiah Klein-Ikink, and Femke Bol. And the Dutch superstar had a superlative performance, running her leg in 47.93 and chasing down and catching the US anchor, Kaylin Brown. And that was really redemption for Bol, who had fallen 5 meters from the finish line last year in Budapest, when the Dutch team was clearly in the lead. And Femke confirmed, she said, "I channeled my anger from Budapest, and when given a second chance on Saturday in Paris." So that was really a special moment. And victory was even more sweet, as the team included 2 young male runners, as the experienced Limarbin Bonavacia had to pull out due to a hamstring injury just days before the competition. So Elias, Femke's performance in the mixed relay is also very interesting in the light of the upcoming showdown with Sydney McLaughlin in the 400 hurdles.
Yeah, what an exciting athlete Femke Bol watching the race, it's like it was well choreographed, well scripted. The Dutch lagging behind, and then Femke comes onto the anchor leg, runs a brilliant race and nicks it just in time at the finish line. An amazing start, finish for Femke, multi-talented athlete, again with a legion of fans from the Netherlands following her. Very good testament for the Dutch athletes. The Dutch have really a small contingent, but highly successful across the board, including in speed skating, in the winter games, and cycling, swimming. So yeah, Femke Bol is sort of a reincarnation of Fanny Blankers-Koen, the multi-talented again athlete from the Netherlands, a fitting end to the mixed relay, which again has brought a lot of excitement into the track and field program and at the World Championships and at these Olympic Games. So looking forward to again the clash between Femke and Sydney, not only at these Olympics but next year's World Championships and on the circuit.
Thank you, Elias. Now, the women's 3,000 meter steeplechase was also a great race, with Budapest world champion Winfried Javi setting an Olympic record with 8:52.76, outsprinting the Tokyo Olympic champion Uganda's Peros Chemutai. Kenya's Faith Kiprotich, the 2023 World Athletics Rising Star, ran an excellent race to take bronze. And France's Alice Finot closed in spectacular fashion, moving from 8th to 4th in the last 2 laps to break the European record with 8:58.67. That moves her to number 11 on the all-time list. Now, I always like Finot. She's a really great athlete. She's an engineer, and that really shows in the way she speaks. She's always very organized, very structured, but there were very emotional moments for her. So she had decided before the final that if she went under 9 minutes, she would do something special, because she says 9 is her lucky number. So after the race, she went to her team in the tribune, took out a pin which she had kept under her bib, and she later explained on French TV that it was an Olympic pin, mentioning the city of love. So she had decided it was the appropriate means to propose to her boyfriend of 9 years, who, she joked, must have forgotten to do it himself. So that was a really cool moment. And finally, hats off to Serbia's Angelina Topic. The 19-year-old injured her left ankle during the warm-up for qualifying in the women's high jump. But after treatment, she managed to successfully clear 188 and 192. Now, that was not sufficient to advance to the final, but it later turned out that Angelina competed with a fractured ankle. So congratulations and best wishes for a prompt recovery, Angelina. Now, Elias, I'm aware it's not politically correct to ask a Kenyan journalist about a Ugandan triumph, but Joshua Cheptegei winning a second Olympic gold, the first over 10,000 after he had taken silver in Tokyo and gold over the 5,000 meters, was special, especially because he had not particularly shone this year.
Never mind, Anna. I mean, in Kenya, Uganda are our neighbors. They are our friendly neighbors. So we like the banter across the border. And of course, Joshua Cheptegei, some people say he's Kenyan. Others say he was born on the border at Mount Elgon, Kapchorwa. Others say he's Ugandan. So we are really, we don't mind, talking about this and enjoying Ugandan success. An amazing athlete, Joshua, saying that he's actually winding up his competition on the track, going to the road. Hope to see him in the marathon after 10 brilliant years. I was there when he won his first major title in 2014 at the World Juniors in Eugene, Oregon. Then he went on to, to greatness. 10 great years of winning, 10 great years of putting Uganda on the map. So yeah, it was absolutely the right way, the right moment to end such a brilliant track career. It has inspired a lot of Ugandan athletes. Jacob Kiplimo coming through, and Cheptegei putting up a track in Kapchorwa, a running track where the young athletes are training. So really, I was very happy for him. Sad that Kenya again will have to wait since 1968 when Naftali Temu won the first Olympic gold in the 10,000 meters. The waiting continues, but yeah, congratulations to our neighbors in Uganda.
Now, Elias, middle and long distance races at Olympics and World Championships are sometimes tactical affairs, but overall, apart from the women's 5,000, this is not the case so far in Paris.
You're right, Anna. I think there's something special with the Paris Olympics, especially with the Stade de France, the crowd, the atmosphere. I've spoken to quite a number of athletes, and they say that the stage is quite big. It's exciting to have that crowd. So there's an additional sort of pressure that throws mere tactics out of the window. It's the speed and how somebody can be able to get into the zone and kick off the tension coming from the terraces, from the fans. So you've seen it with the US, Hoka winning the 1500 meters against all odds. Buka almost won the steeplechase again, finishing second from US. So the Americans have really come out strongly in the distance races, middle and the middle distance races. And like I was saying, it's something about the atmosphere, the ability to handle the pressure. Not all athletes are good at handling pressure, but now it's how strong you are, not only physically but mentally, to be able to get a gold medal in Paris at the Olympics. Full houses, all sessions. It's been amazing, a very good announcement or publicity for track and field as the blue ribbon event at these Olympic Games. So yeah, Africa is no longer dominant in the middle distances again. Techniques are changing, people are evolving with their training methods, so it's going to be more tense going forward for African athletes. They really need to stop relying on the raw talent and look at the use of technology. Very soon, I'm sure AI will be playing a role in coaching, Anna.
Thank you, Elias. So there was Olympic glory for small countries. We have already mentioned Julian Alfred's historic win in the 100 meters with an excellent 10.72, the first Olympic medal and a gold for St. Lucia, an island nation of 179,900 inhabitants. Her time ranks just 1/100th of a second behind the world lead set by Sha'Carri Richardson in June, and brings Julian Alfred to equal number 8 on the all-time list. But there was also another Caribbean island nation winning a first Olympic medal, also a gold, Dominica, which has an even smaller population of just over 72,700. Triple jumper Théa Lafont, who had already taken the world indoor title in March with a mark of 15 meters and 1 centimeter, took gold in Paris with 15 meters 02. And she's the only athlete this year, in the absence of Venezuelan superstar Yulimar Rojas, sidelined by injury, to jump over 15 meters. And she did it both times when it mattered most. Now, there were also quite a few surprising results in Paris. To name but a few, Cuban triple jumper Leyanis Perez Hernandez had the 2 best outdoor marks this year, both over 14 meters 90, but only managed 14.62 for 5th place. British pole vaulter Molly Connery was the world indoor gold. She had the world lead, 7 marks in the top 14, but she was even out in the qualifying. Among the men, one of the upsets, unfortunately, it was by Leo Fabri, who had not lost an outdoor competition this year, but managed only 5th in Paris. And on the other hand, Krauser proved once again just what a champion he is, overcoming injury, rain, and his opponents to triumph in 22 meters 90, 75 centimeters further than the 2 other medalists, his compatriot Joe Kovacs, and Jamaica's Rajendra Campbell. And talking about Jamaica, Jamaica qualified 3 athletes for the men's discus final, with Roger Stona winning gold in an Olympic record of 70 meters. Quite amazing. But probably the biggest upset was Jakob Ingebrigtsen only coming 4th in the 1500 meter, and gold going to the USA's Cole Hawker, outsprinting both the Norwegian star and Josh Kerr. And that honestly is a result I don't think many people would have predicted. Of course, we wanted a reaction from a US journalist, so we asked Paul Merka.
Hi everybody, Paul Merka here from Seattle. First of all, I want to thank Anna for having me on the show today. In my preview of the men's Olympic 1500 meter finals, I wrote that if either man, referring to Josh Kerr or Jakob Ingebrigtsen, focuses on beating the other and fails to pay attention to the others racing for the 3.5 minutes it takes to navigate the track with 70,000 fans screaming at him, someone else is going to walk away with the gold medal. For the 1300 meters, it was indeed the Kerr-Ingebrigtsen show. Unfortunately, the race is 1500 meters. Jakob felt Kerr pressuring him and swung to the outside of lane 1, and that opened a gap for Cole Hawker to pass on the inside. The coach in me was surprised that Jakob, of all people, allowed Cole Hawker to pass him on the inside. That said, credit to Jakob for making the race fast. Credit to Cole Hawker for taking advantage of the hole Jakob created. Josh Kerr, who trains here in Seattle, ran a perfect race for 1,480 meters, and ditto for Yard Nagoose to almost catch Kerr. Don't forget, Hobbs Kessler in 5th. First time 3 Americans were in the finals of the men's 1500. Those 3 let everybody else who didn't get out of the U.S. trials know the bar is now raised in the 1500. And by the way, shout out to Kenneth Rooks from Walla Walla, Washington, about a couple hours east of Seattle, getting 2nd in the men's 3,000 meter steeplechase, the 3rd steeplechase medal won by an American over the last 40 years.
Thank you, Paul. Great analysis. And the US is indeed enjoying great performances in the men's middle and long distances here in Paris. Now, Elias, what was the biggest Paris upset for you?
My biggest upset, it's got to be in the 1500 meters for men, where, you know, all the money was on Norway's Jakob Ingebrigtsen, Great Britain's Josh Kerr, and to some extent rank outsiders like Timothy Cheruiyot of Kenya. But Cole Hawker really came out of the blues and took it with about 40 meters to go, outpacing both Ingebrigtsen and Josh Kerr. Nobody gave him a chance. He was a 3:30 runner coming into the Olympics. But, you know, to beat these 2 giants and to win in an Olympic record, I believe it was 3:27.65, yeah, 3:27.65. That was a brilliant run. Actually, I don't think any bookmaker will have, you know, placed a bet on Cole Hawker winning the 1500 meters. A great race, and another great Olympic champion, and you know, great prospects for the future.
Thank you, Elias. On the other hand, there was no upset for Mondo Duplantis, who not only took another Olympic title, but did it with a world record of 6 meters 25, the 9th record in his career so far, 5 of them indoors and 4 outdoors. Really fantastic athlete. And even the podium really respected the results of the season, with Sam Kendricks in 2nd and Emmanuel Caralis taking bronze. So that, no upsets there at all. Now, Elias, Paris also marked the end of an era for some sprint superstars.
Yeah, it was an end for the lovely Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, a brilliant sprinter, really made people fall in love with the sport, with women's sprints. Shericka Jackson, her Jamaican compatriot also, and of course the Ivorian Marie-José, I should say, Talou Smith. She's been to Kenya as one of the guests in our award ceremony. Everybody loved her. Talou really put Africa on the map with the sprints, and it's unfortunate that they're having to exit the stage, but another crop of brilliant sprinters is coming up, obviously encouraged by these three, Shelly-Ann, Shericka and Talou. So wish them all the best in their future endeavors. I hope we'll see them in coaching, mentoring, and running a few of the one-day meetings, including in Nairobi, where we have the Continental Tour Cape Keno Classic.
Indeed, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, Shericka Jackson, we probably won't see them again, certainly not in Los Angeles. And I was also really sorry for Côte d'Ivoire's Marie-José Talou Smith. She placed 3-time fourth at the Olympic Games, and she had really impressed in the heats with 10.87. Same time which gave Sha'Carri Richardson the silver medal, but she was visibly limping before the semis and decided not to force, finishing well behind the others. So I hope that the injury is not too severe, and maybe we can see her for the rest of the season. So it's time now to go back to the global overview of our sport and check out the best results of the past 10 days, which of course all come from the Olympic Games in Paris. Right, so the 100 meters lists were really shook up in Paris, as we saw a crazy final with 9:79 for both Noah Lyles and Kishane Thompson. Kishane had also run 9.80 in the semis. Oblique Seville had also been very fast in the semis, though he faded away in the final. And in the final, there was a 9:81 for Fred Curley. So really, really great. Akani Simbine, I would have loved him to medal, but he was in fourth with a new national record. Akani is always there. There's young, new sprinters from South Africa, but when it matters, it's always Akani. And Noah Lyles had also run fast in the semis, Fred Curley as well. Marcel Jacobs in the final in fifth place, the outgoing Olympic champion, finishing fifth with 9:85, but that's not a bad result considering the injuries he's had. Letsile Tebogo, 9:86. Akani Simbine had clocked 9:87 in the semis. Maybe we expected a little bit more from Kenny Bednarek. He finished with 9:88 in seventh place. And Oblique Sevilla, 9:91 in the final. So really great performances there. 400 meters now, the final hasn't taken place yet, but I was particularly thrilled to see Kirani James running 43:78 in his semi-final. That was great. Then, as I said, we're only looking today at the marks until the 6th of August, but of course, Quincy Hall shook everything up after that, and we'll speak about Quincy in the next program. In the 1500 meters, we mentioned Cole Hawker winning in 3:27.65 over Josh Kerr, 27.79, Yared Nugusa, 27.80 with Jakob Ingebrigtsen, finishing off the podium in 3:28.24. Hobbs Kessler also in fifth place, which was really interesting. Niels Laros, who is only 19, setting a national record of 3:29.54. And then we have Norway's Narve Gile Nordas, Pietro Arese, Stefan Nillesen, and Neil Gurley. The 10,000 meters was also a great race and not a tactical one at all, with really great marks. Joshua Cheptegei winning in an Olympic record, 26:43:14. Berihu Aregai not far behind, 26:43:44. And Grant Fisher only 0.02 of a second behind Aregawi. Then also great performances by Mohamed Ahmed of Canada, Bernard Kebet of Kenya, Yomif Kejelcha and Selemon Barega of Ethiopia, and Jacob Kiplimo of Uganda. So as you see, the lists from this year are really well shook up by that Olympic 10,000 meters. 110 hurdles, we haven't seen the final yet. It's still to take place. It's going to take place tonight, but obviously we'll talk about it in the next show. But Grant Holloway was already super impressive in the heats, clocking 13:01. So that was really impressive. 400 hurdles, again, we're only at the heats stage in this show. Karsten Warholm with 47:57 was the fastest in the heats. And the big surprise here came from France's Clément Duclos, who was in the same heat as Karsten and finished not very far behind in 47:69. So that was really interesting. The pole vault, as we saw, on the other hand, it was all about Mondo with his world record. Sam Kendricks in silver position with 5:95, and Greece's Emanuel Karalis winning another world medal with 5:90. Same mark as Obiena, but on count back, the medal went to Karalis. Long jump, a second Olympic title in a row for Miltos Tedoglu with 8:48. So that was great for him to confirm his title. And as we saw, the shot put, Ryan Krauser, 22:90, and silver and bronze, both with the same mark of 22:15. Peyton Otterdal in fourth, 22:03, while Leo could only manage 21:76 in qualifying and 21:70 in the final. Top performance among the men is, of course, Mondo Duplantis's new world record of 6:25, which is worth 1,336 points. Now, talking about great performances in Paris, there was also an area record in the qualifying of the men's javelin for Brazil's Luis Mauricio da Silva, who added 46 centimeters to the previous continental best, which had been set earlier this year by his compatriot Pedro Henrique Rodriguez. So congratulations, da Silva. Let's now check the best marks among the women, best marks of the last 10 days, and those were also all coming from Paris. 100 meters, we saw Julian Alfred, 10:72, moves to equal number 8 in the all-time lists. And already in the semi-finals, she had run 10:84. Marie-Josée Talou in the heats had run 10:87, and Sha'Carri Richardson took silver with the same measure. On the 200, Gabby Thomas took the title with 21:83. Now, the US ladies have had much better performances over the 200 than on the 100 meters at the Olympic Games. And already in the semis, she had clocked 21:86. Julian Alfred came second in the longer distance with 21:98. So another great performance for the St. Lucia sprinter. Nigeria's Favour Ofili had clocked 22:05 in the semis. and Julian Alfred 22:08 in the final. 400 meters, here again, we only have marks for the heats so far, and the best was Dominican Republic's Marilady Paulino with 49.42. 800 meter, the win went to Britain's Keely Hodgkinson in 1:56.72. Now, the 5,000 meters, we spoke about it with Elias earlier, 14:28.56 for Beatrice Chebet. The points awarded for the race are not very, very high. This was the one that was a little bit tactical, as we saw with Faith Kipyegon, 14:29.60, Sifan Hassan 1 second behind, and a surprising Nadia Battocletti, 14:31.64 for fourth place, ahead of confirmed stars like Kenya's Margaret Chelimo Kipkemboi and Ethiopia's Ejgayo Taye. 3,000 meter steeplechase was a really fast race. Winfried Yavi set an Olympic record of 8:52.76. Peruth Chemutai of Uganda improved her own national record. Young Faith Cherotich, Little Faith as they call her in Kenya, 8:55.15, and a fabulous race by Alice Pinot, 8:58.67, European record, and moves to number 11 in the all-time list, ahead of 19-year-old Ethiopian Sembo Alemayu and also world record Beatrice Chebet, with a good performance also by Britain's Elizabeth Bird. 400 meters, we still haven't had the final, but the semis were already very good. Sydney McLaughlin, 52.13, and Femke Bol, 52.57. So that promises to be quite a showdown. And Anna Cockrell of the US went 52.90, which is also a great mark. Rachel Clayton, 53 flat, and Shian Salmon of Jamaica, 53.13. Now, triple jump, we spoke about Théa Lafont, always going over 15 meters in the triple jump when it matters. Women's discus, Valerie Allman, the two best performances in the discus in the last 10 days, 69.59 in qualifying and 69 meters 50 in the final. And the best women's performance of 2024 remains the high jump world record, which Jaroslava Maguchik had set in Paris with 2 meters 10, which is worth 1,319 points. In the mixed relay, there were, as we saw, there was a world record for the United States, a European record for the Netherlands, and also a good performance for Great Britain, 3:08.101 for Samuel Reardon, Levi Nielsen, Alex Haydock, Wilson, and Amber Anning. Under 20 and under 18 athletes also registered some great performances in Paris. We will not review all of them in this show, but below are some of the very best underage performances in Paris, starting with the under 20s. In the 400 meters, Samuel Ogazi with 44.50. He moves to number 7, and he's only 18. He's born in 2006, so he moves to number 7 in the all-time list. Then we've mentioned Niels Laros. His 3:29.54 brings him to number 2 on the under 20 all-time list, and is also the number 8 mark in the senior list. Now remember, Niels Laros had already clocked a very, very good time on the mile just before Paris in the last Diamond League meeting in London. Mattia Furlani with his bronze medal in the long jump in 8 meters 34. That's another great mark. He's been very regular. His best mark is 8:38 at the European Championships in Rome, but he also had 8:36, an indoor 8:34, and now another 8:34 here in Paris. So among the under 18, there was really one young lady who was exceptional, and that's Phoebe Gill, who clocked 1:58.83 in the heats and 1:58.47 in the semifinals. So congratulations to Phoebe Gill. Now, Elias, before we conclude our review of the first part of the athletics program at the Olympic Games, I think we need to talk about the spectators in Paris.
Yeah, no, the spectators have been amazing. They've been fantastic. I even read somewhere that one of the professors was saying the positive energy brought about by the Olympic Games in Paris should continue, because you wake up low. We've had very rough days here, late nights, early mornings, but as a journalist, when you get to the stadium, that positive energy really makes you have a positive frame of mind. Even on the way to the stadium, on the way in, on the way out, they smile, talk with you. If you're wearing a national jersey, that sometimes I wear the Kenyan jersey, they're all over you celebrating, saying, yeah, Kenya, you have great athletes. They do the Mexican wave. There was that meter measuring the decibels of sound in the stadium across the venues, not only track and field. It's been amazing. No incident of crowd unruliness. Weather has been perfect. I think Paris has been a spectacular advertisement for sport in general. Looking at the outside the stadium, I was regular at Gate D of the Stade de France, where there was music, enjoying some beer and mingling with people from all over the world. The Dutch people here, the English, Mexican. It's a melting pot of the world, and that's what makes me love sport. I mean, the people you meet, the experiences you have, the joy that it brings into your life, it really keeps you going. And it's a pity that the Olympics is only 16 days. I wish it was 365 to bring this energy into the world and to make the world a better place. Excellent fans in Paris, and I must say to Paris, congratulations, merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Elias. And indeed, it seems that at all venues for all sports, they were really packed, and the atmosphere was crazy. So congratulations to the organizers, and congratulations to the spectators for bringing it all alive. So at the end of our show, we always look at upcoming events. But of course, until 11 August, it's all about the Olympic Games. So we're now at the end of our program. And it was great having Elias with us on the show.
Thanks a lot, Anne, for having me. It's been a pleasure being on your show again, and I've really enjoyed the track and field program in Paris, and hope it will be the same next year, the World Championships in Tokyo, and indeed in 2028 at the Olympics in Los Angeles. So yeah, for me, all I can say is merci beaucoup, au revoir.
Thank you, Elias. Thank you all for watching, and see you next week on Love Athletics to look together at the highlights, comments, and analysis of what's been happening in Paris in the final days of the 2024 Olympic Games. Bye-bye, thank you. And we have some athletes interviews coming in the next couple of days. Bye, Elias. Bye, everyone. Thank you.